Hello, everybody, and welcome to the OCRP iRacing League at Darlington tonight. Getting things underway, having some technical difficulties. It was indeed an issue with the in-game overlay by NVIDIA. Having it in a desktop capture mode, which was required for a video recorded earlier today, yielded in results of a stutter. But the stutter should be gone. The skies are clear, and we're going to be getting ready for some racing here tonight under the lights at Darlington with these Gander trucks. A nice turnout tonight of people. And up here in the booth is none other than Mr. Joe Cortez. How you doing tonight, Joe?
Jeff, glad to be here one more time at Darlington, the track they call Too Tough to Tame. And so far, we've got a lot of excitement going on the track. What you saw last night was a test, if you will, kind of getting everybody's toes wet, kind of getting the track warm, trying to figure out what happens next. But now is the real thing. Now, tonight's drivers are going to be tested at the Lady in Black, seeing who's going to get the last dance tonight.
Absolutely. And if we look here at the results of what we saw earlier, Sahil is looking like he's got the top spot right now. I don't have a time on him yet. But Wes Graham at the 88 truck, we saw doing really well in Daytona last week. Right back up there. Our winner last week, actually, here showing in second right now. But the truck to watch is the 71 of John R. Borst. John R. Borst is a driver that was not in the league and was invited into the league after seeing his performance at the very beginning. He was in open race last night. We saw him perform very well, and it's going to be interesting to see him here tonight and what he can do.
Well, last night, he just had this setup figured out. He had the truck working to his specific condition. He knew how to wheel it around this track, and he was all about it. So I'm really excited to see what he's able to do now that he's joined the big league as we go through the rest of the unofficial results in qualifying. Lots of great guys driving on here tonight. Ryan Stewart, Civ Ryan, is going to be starting around position number 6. Jeff Coburn, it looks like, will be in position number 11, and Eric O'Neill starting 15th. You've got a lot of depth in this field, Jeff. It's going to be very fun watching them figure out how to tame Darlington.
Absolutely, and that ends the qualifying round right there, and we are going to be gridding out there, and we're going to be getting this race underway. The sun will be setting, and we'll see the difference in the track change. What's going on with the track today? Well, we are looking at 92 degrees Fahrenheit. It was 100 degrees earlier in practice earlier today. A lot of guys slipping and sliding around. However, the track has cooled off as the clouds move through. And we're looking at a 1.31 mile track here, 4 turns, of course, and a track elevation of 157. Looking at the weather right now, 77 degrees. A little bit of wind out of the north at 2 miles per hour. We don't believe in the humidity that it ever shows us, but partly cloudy skies, and it should be interesting to see this race transition into the night.
And a lot of drivers, I was listening to them talk to each other before the race night, a lot of them are waiting for the trucks to adjust to that evening temperature. A lot of them saying they're looking forward to coming onto the track tonight, having it cool down, and having the tires grip better underneath them, and having a little bit more competitive racing. For the first half of this race, expect to see what we saw last night, which is a lot of single file racing, a lot of testing the trucks, testing the tires, and a lot of stops for 4 tires of fuel under caution. But once the sun goes down, once we hit the halfway point, that's when I think we're going to see a lot more racing trucks out here on the track.
Totally agree here. We're now just getting our results here, and we're seeing who is indeed on the pole, and that is going to be the 18 truck of Sahil Mustak.
Sahil Mustak turning in a 28.293 seconds to be the fastest truck. The closest to him was 88 of Wes Graham, 28.41 seconds. They will be your front row. Going down the rest of the field, John R. Borst, the invitee for tonight's race, will start in position number 3. On the outside of him, the 29 of Michael Long, turning in a time of 28.628 seconds. Charles Gray, Anthony DeFrenchi making up row number 3. Check that. Ryan Stewart, Alex Randorino, row number 4. Then Scott Barkman and Tony C. Wilson will be row number 5.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Here shortly, as soon as we get these trucks rolling, we're going to be going through that list for you guys again. We'll show you exactly who ended up on the grid. Had some issues there with some trucks getting onto the grid, but we are rolling now, and the pace car is leading them around. So here on row number 1, There he is right there, Mr. Sahil Mustak, the 18 truck on the inside of Wes Graham. In row 2, we've got John R. Borst in that 71. We talked about how great he was driving last night. We'll see how that works tonight. With Michael Long on the outside of row 2. Row 3, we've got Charles Gray and Anthony DeFrenchi. Row 4, there he is, Siv Ryan in the 12 truck, and Alexander Reno in the 22 on the outside of him. And row 5, Scott Barkman, Tony C. Wilson to his outside there, starting in 10th.
Going back further to the field, Jeff Coburn and Michael Groves will make up row number 6. Hondo Longmire in last night's race will start on the inside of Robert Kellert in row number 7. Eric O'Neill, Joshua Jones will make up row number 8. And Nick Rogers and Aaron Beaver will be the last 2 drivers who took time out here. They will be at the tail end of the field as we get ready to go to Green Flag Racing for the first time tonight. The field in command of Sahil Mustak.
And Sahil's getting ready to restart him or start him here tonight. And the green flag is in the air here at Darlington. 2 by 2 as they head all the way down into turn 1. We got some trucks staying side by side right now, but as we saw last night in the race in the open, here they go right to their single file line.
Only battle now is for position number 7. The Alexander Reno gets a little high and almost takes out Ryan Stewart. Ryan Stewart gets a position on him. He will move into position, and now it looks like Tony Wilson trying his truck on that very outside line up against the wall. Single file so far. We have a clean lap number 1.
And Sahil's leading them around here in that single file line. We've talked about how these guys are getting around this track. They're driving right up next to that wall, all the way down into the corner. You'll see him lift. He'll get all the way up against that wall again and get right back into the gas, right in the middle of the corner, right there, driving it up against the wall. That's how you get your Darlington stripe here. You're driving just a few inches off that wall all night.
That makes it for crazy driving, and what I saw during the practice tonight was the same thing we saw in last night's practice race. A lot of these drivers are having a hard time making the transition off turn number 2 against the wall, going up against the wall to the backstretch, and getting that Darlington stripe right there on the exit of turn number 2. So it's very interesting watching them now be conservative. I'm curious, how many times is that corner going to jump out and bite these drivers tonight?
That is the question. We're watching Wes Graham here now trying to make a challenge for the lead as he gets to the back bumper of the 18 truck. And he's not able to get there just yet, but he's definitely not taking it easy on the 18.
Definitely not taking it easy. None of these top 3 are taking it easy. These guys, you can throw a blanket over them. That's how close they are, and they have distanced themselves from the rest of the field. As you look at the race right now, Sahil Mustak, Wes Graham, Michael Long, only about a half second between those 3 drivers collectively. Their nearest competition is John Borst, almost 2 seconds behind them. They've got a time zone on them right now, and I think that's the way they want to keep it in the event we have a green flag stop.
You're absolutely right, and it doesn't look like anything's changed out here in the front. We got a little bit of help here behind the 88. That's the 29 truck of Michael Long. We haven't talked too much about him. He turned a pretty good lap in qualifying, and now he's pushing on the 88 truck, and maybe we'll see a change for position 2.
Entirely possible, but I've got a feeling these guys are kind of taking it easy right now. They want to make sure that their trucks go the distance throughout the night tonight. Now, they do have those 3 quick fixes if they get into an incident, but the last thing you want to do is burn one of those on lap number 6, because if you do, it's going to make it for a very long race that you've got to control that truck and make sure nothing, absolutely nothing happens to it for the rest of the race.
At this time in the race, we're going to let you guys turn it up. Listen to the sound of these trucks getting around Darlington. It's time to crank it up. And no pressure out back from the 18 truck, looking back there, and he has no pressure at all. We're watching all the way back there, and it looks like it might be the 87 there of Charles Gray. Has a little bit of company by the 14 truck of Anthony DeFrenchie. DeFrenchie was a driver as he turns him right there on the front stretch, and the caution will fly.
First caution of the night, and we have more trucks now getting involved. Tony C. Wilson goes for a spin. Alexander Reno goes for a spin. 4 trucks total collected in that incident that started with the attempted pass.
Yeah, it looks like the 14 there was trying to get by Charles Gray, and it just didn't work out too well for him. He ended up getting to his left rear quarter panel there and giving the 87 truck a nice ride, and that's going to be a lot of front-end damage there on the 14. Now, remember, these guys will get 3 different attempts tonight at getting their trucks fixed with the quick repair.
Yes, they will, but again, that's the last thing you want to do is burn them early up in the race. Now, Charles Gray has already burned one. Hondo Longmire has already burned one, and it looks like a couple other trucks are going to burn one as well. I believe that's going to be Anthony DeFrenchie going to have to burn one as well, so good news is they've got 2 more tries. Bad news is if they got caught up 2 more incidents, that could be their night, and they're going to have to sit the rest of the dance out.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case there. We're going to see what they're going to do. Now, if you are out there, you've turned a few laps here. We're on lap 11 now, Joe, but what do you think you're going to come down? You're going to take tires at this point in the race?
Absolutely, I'm taking tires right now. At this juncture, I'm looking at my truck. I'm going to get tires. I'm going to get a full tank of fuel because I know those extra tires will give me the grip I need to continue down the race, and it also plays in the pit strategy as well. If I get new tires now, I might be able to save something and cycle them up later down the race, as we have 3 now coming down to the touch of their crews.
Yeah, the 12 truck of Ryan just pulled in right behind now. Interesting, I don't think the 18 made a decision to come down pit road. We'll see if he comes down next time. Jeremy, you hear anything going on down there in any of those camps?
Doesn't seem to be much chatter, except a lot of people seem to be being frustrated over getting into their pit boxes. We had a couple of them miss, had to back up and reposition themselves. That could be a factor if we're under a yellow and people come in doing.
Absolutely. Now, another thing is, was the 18 truck, did he mean to come down to pit road and just missed it, or is he staying out for a reason?
I believe he did miss pit road. I didn't hear any chatter about it, but it sure looked like he was trying to come down and missed it.
All right, well, that's going to be an interesting restart after we have seen last night under the lights in the Open Series. They were spinning tires quite easily. Now, one thing is that, you may not spin your tires, but then within 5 laps of being on those older tires, it really, really shows, and you're kind of a sitting duck at that point.
Absolutely you are, and that's why I think tires are going to be so critical to tonight's race, especially during this early part of the race. As the track cools down, the grip will come to them. But until that time, until the track gets to a point where they feel it's raceable and they can really start challenging each other for leads and position, they're going to have to lean on those brand new sticker tires underneath them in order to keep moving forward. So tires can play a critical part in this role, and considering the 18 of Boostak did not come in, I'm not going to be surprised if we have our first lead change as soon as we go back to Green Flag Racing.
Well, there you have it. Right now, Sahil is holding off everyone at the front. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Green Flag Racing. Welcome, everybody, back to Darlington once again. Getting ready to Rack 'em and stack 'em. They're going to be going green flag racing next time by. Sahil's been the one to hold him off, but Sahil missed his entry to pit road under caution, and we'll see if that's going to hurt him in this run.
I don't think it's going to hurt him. I think this may be a strategy option for Sahil. But as we saw last night, when Hondo Longmire decided to not take tires and lead a couple parade laps, he got past immediately once we got back to green flag racing. Base car is off, and Sahil Mustak controls the field one more time.
Here comes Sahil. He is the control truck, and green flag in the air here at Darlington once again. Looks like the truck back there. Who was that in the right behind the 20 truck? Trying to see who that is. They were making a little bit of an aggressive move there on that restart.
Major aggressive move going on to, I believe that's the 20 truck. Michael Groves gets a chrome horn out of the way, and he is going to lose major position. Might need a little bit of flex seal to try to get the grip back and get back on up there. Meanwhile, Sahil Mustak not affected by the lack of tires, but second and third might be.
Yeah, Michael Groves way down on the track there. It looked like he just got loose, and he didn't want to cause any more problems, so he just kind of got out of line, and he's letting everybody back by.
He's going to really have to work to get back up to the field as we have a position change for position number 2. That's Michael Long, the 29 machine, getting around Eric O'Neill for position number 2. And look who's ready to strike. John R. Borst. He is moving up through the field, and he wants a shot at the leader if they can catch him. Sahil Mustak now has 1 second over Wes Bramcom.
Yeah, 1 second over Wes, and it's interesting to see the 71 truck. He's really doing a great job tonight after we got a few around the back. And the 71's involved.
The 71 of Borst goes spinning like a top. So does the 19 truck. 3 trucks with heavy damage involved in that one. Caution out for the second time, and I guarantee you, Borst is thankful. He's gonna get a quick repair out of this one.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what exactly happened back there. I know the 76 there of Wilson was involved as well. We're having to back everything up here quite a bit to try to figure out what exactly just transpired, because we aren't sure ourselves. It was quite interesting. So we're going to see here in just a few moments what happened.
Jeff, it looks like it starts with the 37 of Eric O'Neill. Once again, just coming off of turn number 2, gets either close to the wall or touches the wall, gets the air taken off him, and then not only does he go for a ride and bring some friends with him, he net codes out as well. It's a double whammy of calamity on that backstretch to bring out this second caution flag.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been some net coding issues we saw as he was dipping in and out of our sight. And I wasn't sure if that was going to be a problem for other drivers, and it looked like it ended up getting the 71 involved.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough hit for John R. Borst after such a dominant performance last night. But that being said, he was able to come back from an incident similar to that last night. So with that quick fix on the hauler, I've got a feeling we might see him come back here in just a little bit. Meanwhile, back on track as we're still live, Sahil Mustak has not elected to come down pit road. It is now lap number 19, and he continues to stay out there on those 19 lap tires.
Yeah, we're watching right now. Looks like the 37 just got loose coming off of turn number 2, and that netcode didn't help anything out here, and he tried to chase it back up the track, and the 76 back there is already out of shape. That's Tony Wilson that got into the wall, and that was a separate incident than what we had originally thought.
A lot of incidents happening. I believe there were 6 trucks total involved as a result of the pacing and how everything played out there. So, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next, how these guys react from it, and more importantly, who's going to bounce back from them. It also shakes up that top 5. We no longer have Borst up there, or O'Neill, or DeFrenchie up there. Sahil Mustak continues to lead, has led all 20 laps so far, but now Wes Graham is in second, Jeff Coburn in third, Ryan M. Stewart, Steve Ryan in fourth, and Michael Long rounding out your top 5. Brand new drivers up front could create a new dynamic as they get ready to figure out how to go green flag racing when we on lap, looks like about 22.
Yeah, we'll have 91 laps to go when we get back by here. But it looks like the pace car will probably keep the lights on. Yeah, they have the lights on right now, and they'll have them off next time. So we've got 2 more laps, then we'll be back green flag racing.
Drivers are trying to figure out amongst themselves where they need to be positioned, where to jockey out there. So let's go through the lineup as it stands right now. Cecile Mustak continues to lead, has not gone down pit road yet. He may know something about these tires that these other guys don't, or he's trying to conserve them a little bit so that he can figure out when to pit, not just be forced to pit. Wes Graham in second, Jeff Coburn third, Ryan Stewart fourth, Michael Long rounds out your top 5. In the top 10, it's going to be Tony C. Wilson in 6th, Michael Grove 7th, Aaron Beaver 8th, Alexander Reno 9th, and Charles Gray, or check that, it'll be Reno in 10th, and Charles Gray rounding out the top 11. Rest of the field looks like DeFrenchie, O'Neill, Barkman, Borst, Joshua Jones, Hondo, and Hondo Longmire, who has pulled it behind the wall. He's out for the night.
Yeah, that's a huge, tough break for John Borst, as we saw great things from him yesterday. He's 2 laps down showing right now, but that doesn't mean anything. Here at Darlington, especially how we saw the race go out yesterday, I think he can get his laps back.
Oh, I think a lot of people can get their laps back. Remember, we're still waiting for this track to cool down even more and the trucks to come in underneath them. So a lot of guys here, I think, are just going to bide some time, do some riding around the wall, right around the top down, if you will, and just try to figure out what they need to do to survive to that halfway point. Because when we hit the halfway point, again, these trucks are going to change phenomenally, and there's going to be more grip, there's going to be more push. These guys are going to start having fun when the lights come on.
And the pace car is down and away. The 18 truck is your control truck as he's getting ready to restart this field. Holding back the 91 of Coburn there. And the green flag is there in the air. The 18 waited until the very last moment to go. And that ended up bottlenecking a few drivers back there, but everybody's able to get down to turn 1.
Everyone able to get through turn 1 so far as we have now Mustang on the first place and the lead in Wes Graham, the 88 machine, trying to catch up to him. But Sahil's too fast still. He is getting away, coming off of turn number 2. Will the number 88 be able to pick up some speed going into turns 3 and 4?
And look at the 91 truck of Jeff Coburn. Last week got into a little bit of an incident with the 77 truck when he spun him on the backstretch at Daytona. Here is the 91 Beppes truck getting around the 12 there on that restart and holding his position. And he's able to hold off the 12 right now. And the 12 having a little bit of a battle there with Michael Long on the 29.
Battle for position number 5 looks like Stewart, Long, Stewart, and who's that in front of Jeff Coburn? These guys are fighting amongst themselves. A little sidetrack, it looks like. Stewart able to hold off Long going into turns 1 and 2. Now Stewart's going to look high over Jeff Coburn. Can he make the pass in turns 1 and 2? No! Instead, he's going to lay the chrome horn to him and spin out Jeff Coburn. Caution out once again.
Caution out again there, but I think it wasn't a chrome horn issue there. It looked like Coburn just got loose coming off of turn 2, and that checked him up, and the 12 couldn't go anywhere and just got into the back end of him there.
This is going to be one of those ones. I know the chat's going to debate who did what, who shot first. Either way, no matter how you look at it, I think that's just a racing incident. That's just hard racing between 2 competitive drivers, and no matter how you look at it, Jeff Coburn just in that situation got the losing end of it. And sometimes that's happened. They say rubbin's racing. Well, Jeff Coburn found out the hard way.
Yeah, and we're trying to get this replay system in a much better condition than it has been all night. Sorry for that. Not sure why we are having the issues we are, but we had to back things up quite a bit there to try to figure it out. I think it's just time to say bye to that. I think they're going to be heading down to pit road here shortly.
To the attention of our man on pit road, what you got down there?
Well, it looks like just a simple little incident that happened back there. Looked like Coburn got a little bit loose and slowed him down a little bit, and the 12 just had nowhere to go. Doesn't sound like there's any hard feelings, so that's a good thing.
What's going on with the trucks down by our pit road? Who's taking what? As it looks like Sahil Mustak and company are going down. Sahil's coming down for his first pit stop. What's he going to take there, Jeremy? Well, as Jeremy gets tied up on the cables there, it looks like Mustak's going to come down for 4 brand new tires and a full tank of fuel. This will be his first stop on pit road. Down and away, the race off will be Mustak, Wes Graham, Ryan Stewart going to pick up position on Aaron Beaver, and Robert Keller rounding out the top 5 there. It will be Mustak giving up the lead for the first time tonight, and officially Michael Long, the 29 machine, is going to be credited as your leader.
Yeah, the 29, that's going to be interesting to see. He's been a very strong truck all night long, and we're going to see if he's able to try to get a little bit of a lead on the 76 of Wilson, and trying to figure out with Wilson, did Wilson pit as well, or did he only take 2 tires?
Well, I'm going to have to go back and take a look at that. I don't know if Wilson came down or not. Let's take a look. Going back, I got a feeling he was in that group. He might have been in that group, but considering his position, he might not have been. I'm going back to the tape right now, and as everyone comes down pit road, Wilson was not in the group to go down pit road. So Long, Wilson, Alexander Reno, they're your top 3. They came in for tires earlier. They're now running on older tires. So strategy now coming into play here. 3 guys on older tires, a whole pack behind them on newer tires. I've got a feeling those newer tires are going to win the day, but they may not win the war.
Absolutely. One thing that we did see there was Sahil was able to get off pit road before Wes. That was the battle right there. It was between him and Wes, and that's why I was confused about the 3 trucks that were out front. That, yeah, they stayed out since they had already taken tires. So we've seen tonight, you know, you can stay out. You can hold your position on older tires. I think it really does come down to how you can serve them and just how much experience you have with these trucks.
It's true. I think the biggest thing that people need to take away from tonight is this is IROC style racing. Everyone has the same exact setup underneath their trucks. The only difference is the manufacturer and the paint scheme on them. So when you consider that, it's all down to driver skill. Who can figure out the setup fastest, who can figure out how to run the setup fastest, and ultimately how to make that setup work the best for your condition. I think some of these drivers, like Mustak, like Graham, like Stewart, have figured out the setup. But the question is, how is it going to evolve? How is it going to change? Especially as tires become a factor now. Will we see the track cool down a little bit faster, or will we see those tires becoming a bigger factor as the race goes on? I think tires are going to be critical to tonight's race, and it doesn't matter how new or old you are. It's a matter of how best you can control your truck with the tires you have underneath you.
We have completed 27 laps. We have 83 to go. Only 1 lead change tonight, and we're seeing it. And we've had 3 cautions so far for 11 laps. Now, last night in the Open Series, we saw quite a few cautions. I see that the track is going to swing in a direction of getting cooler, and maybe these trucks won't be sliding around so much.
Only one way to find out. Michael Long will take the field back to the green flag after the pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road. Long, Wilson, your front 2 as the green flag flies, and Long gets the jump. He's going to be up. He's going to be your leader. Wilson now second. Now look at Sahil Mustak in third. He's on the tailgate of that 78, and here comes Stewart. He's going to come out and caution back out once again.
Caution's out once again, trying to figure out where that occurred on the track. I hear him crashing down in turn 2, it sounds like. And it looks like the 71 was involved. We're going to have a look at the replay here shortly and try to figure out what exactly happened with them. But what an interesting turn of events there. The 18 saw an opening and he took it, showing just how powerful he has been all night. And here he is slicing and dicing through the traffic.
And he's strong, and it just shows how much stronger he is on those brand new tires underneath him compared to those who stayed out. Now, the incident actually took place further back in the field going into turn number 1, involving the 16 of Joshua Jones and the 20 machine that belongs to Michael Groves. The 2 of them connected, or I'm sorry, it's going to be the 20 and the 37, check that, of Eric O'Neill. The 2 of them connected going into turn number 1, sent them sideways. They collect the 19 Valvoline Toyota Tundra. That belongs to Scott Barkman, and the 3 gets caught up for it as well. So 4 trucks, we're going to need a little extra flex tape after that incident.
Yeah, and you can see right there, he just didn't really have a whole lot of options there. He was kind of in the middle of it all, the 19 truck was. And what a great job by the 3 of Josh Jones back there trying to back out of it. And nope, he was not able to save the truck as it went right into the wall.
Now, here's the question. Is anyone going to risk it coming down pit road this time by? So far, none of your leaders doing so. Long and Wilson will stay out, positions 1 and 2. Mustak, Stewart, 3 and 4. Reno and Graham, now 5 and 6. And you're seeing right here how they're cycling through. Those who have tires are moving up to the front. Those who don't are moving backwards. But again, Jeff, I have to feel like this is strategy right here. You're watching chess at play. You're watching guys come in on different cycles to get tires, and I think it's about who has the best tires at the end of the night. That's what they're all gambling on.
Yeah, I think right now it's not that it's not that big of a gamble this early on in the race. I think they're trying to figure out, hey, how is my truck going to perform, say 5 to 10 laps on a short run, or how's it going to perform in a long run on older tires? We haven't had enough green flag racing to really figure that out yet. So I think it's a matter of these guys trying to figure out, hey, does it work?
Will it work? That is the question. Not will it blend, will it work? And again, as I said, the first half of this race is really going to be about shaking down the trucks, figuring out what they do as the track evolves. Once it gets to be nighttime here, once the sun goes down, the lights go on, we know what's going to happen on the track. We know how the track's going to change. But it's about the evolution from daytime to nighttime in this setup. And because of that, I think you're seeing a lot of guys just simply testing the waters right now, seeing how good this setup is for them and how good they can make it as it gets better through the night. Looks like we got the lucky dog coming around. That's going to be the 87, the monster. That's a monster brigade machine of Charles Gray, and we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing.
Yes, they should. The lights will be off in the base car next time by. Well, let's talk about this driver in the 12 truck, the fan favorite, Civ Ryan. You know him as Ryan Stewart here, showing that he's got what it takes to get around Darlington. We saw some great things out of him yesterday. He got caught up in quite a few accidents. Not a lot he could really do there in those kind of situations, but we have seen him powering past the 22. He's been very side by side with the 22 tonight as far as skill goes, but it's going to be a matter of can he get by the 18 and put him behind him.
That is the $64,000 question, isn't it? I think he can, but the question is for how long, and more importantly, how much of a distance can he get on that back straightaway? If you can get some distance, if you can run by yourself here, you're in a good place. But I don't know that we're going to see a whole lot of that, especially as we both know, Jeff, cautions breed cautions.
Yeah, they tend to do that. We got 11 trucks on the lead lap, and we're starting to see a little bit of a trend of what we saw in last night's race, and that is, half of this field is going to be going down a lap based off of the amount of cautions we've seen, but bringing the pace car back around, and it'll be away.
So one more time, we go back to green flag racing. Michael Long, Tony C. Wilson, your front two as the green flag get ready to fly. We're back to green flag racing on lap 33. Michael Long is going to do the same thing the 18 did earlier, bottlenecking a little bit to try to hold on to his lead. But look who's on the tailgate. The 18 of Sahil Mustak as they stack them up now 2 by 2, who turns 1 and 2 behind him.
Side by side, the 12 just drove it right to the inside of the door of the 76, and he said goodbye. You can hang out with Wes if you'd like. The 88 truck of Wes was caught up in that little bit of a mess there between the 3 trucks, and now it looks like they're starting to figure it out. And here comes Jeff Coburn, the 91, to the inside of the 76.
Meanwhile, up front, we missed a big challenge for the lead there as Sahil Mustak got side by side with Michael Long, turns 3 and 4. Let's keep an eye on them as they go down the straightaway now. Both of them avoiding that corner off turn number 2. Long now fading to Sahil Mustak. Can the 18 make the pass through 3 and 4? And more importantly, can he make it stick? He is faster through the smaller corner of the egg. Mustak takes away the lead, and Michael Long's going now for the crossover.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the 29 would be happy with the 18's move there. He pretty much just kind of chopped his nose off there as he came off of turn number 4. But the 18 is way faster than the 29, and I think he was letting him know that. You know, remember the 29 of Michael Long is driving on older tires, and we're seeing that change right there.
Now the older tires are now coming to pay a toll. But look at Ryan Stewart. Sid Ryan is now trying to work his way up in that GTA appropriately themed Silverado, the 24/7 Silverado up there. I have a lot of love for that paint scheme. I am so love for it, I'm tongue-tied. It is a great paint scheme as he now tries to take away position number 2 from Michael Long. The newer tires showing the strength right now at Darlington.
Yeah, it looks like the 12 of Stewart is trying to get to the back bumper of the 29 of Michael Long. And he's got a little bit of company behind him. I think if you're the 88 truck, you're waiting for the 12 and the 29 to race each other so you can get by those two.
Single file throughout the rest of the field. No real changes so far as Eric O'Neill once again down on the low apron. Not sure what happened to him, but smoke coming out of that machine. Mustak continues to lead, and the most excitement now between second, third, and fourth. Michael Long holding off Stewart, but I've got a feeling Stewart is letting him have that position. He doesn't want to burn off the tires just yet. He's going to see if Michael Long's going to make a mistake first.
Yeah, that's a tough break there for Eric O'Neill, bringing it down to pit road right now. I'm not sure what happened there, if the truck just kind of let go after some damage earlier on. But here we are seeing some things heating up between the 29, the 12, and the 88 truck.
And these guys are in their own time zone right now. Mustak, Long, Stewart, and Graham collectively about a second between all 4 of those trucks. Their nearest competitor is a 91 of Jeff Coburn. He's having a Pepsi all by himself, 5 seconds away from this group. So the leaders now have broken away as we have a challenge now. It's going to go sideways.
Yeah, the 12 of Ryan, I'm not sure if he got into the 29 there. It looked like he might have, but what an incredible save by the 29 truck of Michael Long, hanging on to it in turn 4.
Incredible save. He's going to keep that truck moving forward, moving in the right direction. Very little damage, if any, on that machine, and he is going to hold on to position number 4. Anthony DeFrenchie now trying to keep up with him, trying to see if he can keep up with those 2 trucks in front of him. But Wes Graham and Michael Long's now having a little bit of issues as Wes Graham looks to open the door.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to drop to the bottom and let Graham go by there, and he's going to have some company with the 14 truck there of DeFrenchie. Now, I'm not really sure what happened in turn 4. It could have been just a matter of aggressive driving we've seen out of Stewart tonight. He got caught up in that previous accident by getting somebody out of the way that was on older tires, and here we see it again. Maybe we're seeing some frustrations from these drivers of being behind somebody with older tires. I'm not sure, but I don't think it was intentional by any means.
I don't think it was intentional at all. I think, once again, it was just hard racing between those 2 trucks. And most importantly, I think it's just you're seeing a little bit of frustration carry over from last night from Stewart. Remember, he was in a great position to take away some leads, take away some laps for guys, and lead some laps out there. But he was caught up in incident after incident as the race came to a close. So I think what you're seeing out there is a very irritated driver who's held on to last night and wants to take it all under the spotlight here in the official OCRP league.
And the 12 of Stewart still just kind of maintaining a 2.3 second right behind, 2.3 seconds behind Mustak there. And looking back into the field, there's a little bit of racing going on between the 97 of Aaron Beaver and the 87 of Charles Gray, but it looks like they figure that out and they get back to single file racing.
Last night's leader, John Borst, he is pulled behind the wall for the night. He will be done. So his first taste of OCRP racing may have been just a little too much. We'll hope to see him back next week as we continue the series. Now, second, Stewart now under fire from the 88 of Wes Graham. Michael Long in 4th, and DeFrenchie. He's 3 laps down, but he's trying to stay with that group. I think what he's trying to do is put himself in a position to make up some laps if we go back to a caution flag. He has got that position right now. He is not the lucky dog. Scott Barkman would be in the 19 truck, but if he can just keep up with these guys, maybe capitalize on a couple mistakes, he might be able to pick up some position as Stewart now under fire from the 88 of West Graham.
Yeah, it looks like West was in a good line, and the yellow flag flies, trying to figure out where that's at on the track.
The 91 of Coburn, he got spun. He looked like he spun around, and he might have just had some issues coming off of turn number 2, earning that Darlington stripe on both sides. As I told you, Jeff, that coming off that corner, turn number 2, that wall just jumps out at you sometimes, and it gives you a little shove. And Coburn learning that the hard way as he struggles with that truck now.
Yeah, it's sad to see. We saw the 91 being really strong earlier on in this race, and we're going to see exactly what happened with the 91 here as he gets into turn 2. Remember, if you get those left side tires below that white striped line, like he did right there, that's all it takes to get loose here at Darlington at these speeds. And we're seeing right here, he's turning about 105 miles an hour or so right there. Looks like we might have gotten the wrong lap. No, there he is right there getting loose completely and out of shape. And once he's sideways, there's just not really a whole lot he can do. He can try to save the truck, but it looks like he didn't even get into the brakes there.
Meanwhile, down on pit road, crew's getting ready to get busy. Sahil Mustak down, Stewart down, Wes Graham down, Michael Long down. Let's throw it to our man on the pit road. Jeremy, what are you hearing from these crews?
Well, what I was hearing, it sounds like Brian in the number 12 had a little bit of issues with the tires, was going to let Graham go around him, but then the yellow came out. I'm not sure exactly what happened before when he got a little bit of a tangle with Long. I don't think he did it on purpose. He apologized, and Long said, I don't think you hit me.
Oh, there you go. I mean, if he didn't think that hey, if I don't think you hit me, I think that's a good thing. You're not going to be upset with anybody.
No, I think what happened there is he might have had the air taken off of him, which is easy to do on these trucks because they are so light in the back end. The center of gravity is pushed so much forward due to those cabs. He might have just had the air taken off his rear end, and he may have just gotten that little shove to go around. So, very easy to do in these trucks. Very, very easy to happen, especially when you're running at high speeds at a smaller track like Darlington. Wouldn't surprise me if that exactly was what happened, but I guess we'll see if that's going to be a continued problem moving forward.
63 laps to go here at Darlington. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Green Flag Racing from the OCRP iRacing Series. Welcome back to Darlington. We're going to be getting things back underway here shortly as they are side by side and the lights are out on the pace car. So, Joe, we've seen it pretty much been a battle of tires so far in this race. The 18 has been unstoppable, but now the 12 of Stewart is in the number 2 position.
He is in the catbird seat, as I've heard it said before. Mustak and Stewart, positions 1 and 2, as the pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. It will be Mustak's field once again to control as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Green flag is out, and he is once again going to delay the start, trying to catch the number 12 of Ryan, Sim Ryan, there to dry a little bit. Sahil Mustak gets the lead. Stewart in second, and Wes Graham now challenging for that position.
Watching that 88 truck, he was putting his nose right to the bottom of the 12, trying to get around him. Now they're going to be side by side back there with the. He's going to be side by side with the 29 along, but here comes the 12 trying to get to the 18's bumper, but the 18 is going to put him right back single file racing.
Top 4 single file, and you got to give a shout to the 88 of Graham. He is racing right now. He is definitely looking all over the track for some grip as we get to the halfway mark of this race. He is up the track, down the track, doing everything he can to get around the 12 of Stewart. Can he do it in turns 3 and 4? No, but he is going to try. He's going to go high as the 12 goes low as they both look for extra grip going onto the straightaway.
Looks like the 88 truck had a little bit of a run coming off of turn 4, and that 12 is going to just barely touch the wall, getting his Darlington stripe. And things seem kind of stagnant right now. It doesn't seem like anybody's going forward or they're going back. I see a little bit of smoke out here on the track from a truck down on pit road, it looks like.
The next closest battle that I'm watching right now is between the Ford of Robert Keller, the 91 of Jeff Coburn, and the 87 of Charles Gray. Those 3 trucks look a little racy, and I think they're kind of gambling on another set of caution flags. If another rash breaks out, I think those guys want to set up their trucks so that they can get moving and get going forward the right way. It looks like the 87 of Gray is going to get around the 91 of Coburn, so score him in the top 10.
Yeah, we were talking about Jeff Coburn, about how well he was doing earlier in this race. He got caught up in an accident, and then later on had a self-spin coming off of 2. But right now it looks like go in the 14 of DeFrenchie trying to get around the 20 truck back there, and they might have had almost a moment there, it looked like.
A moment that looks like it was narrowly avoided. I know some of these drivers are looking forward to the rash of cautions. Some of them are trying to do as much as they can to keep going straight and keep going clean for more of the race. Right now, Scott Bartman, the 19 machine, he is would be your lucky dog if another yellow flag comes out. He's only 2 laps down as DeFrenchie now gets around the 20 of Michael Groves. No lost position for him. He's going to stay in P11 as DeFrenchie, 3 laps down, does everything he can to try to get back on pace and get back to position where he can challenge for position.
The 88 truck of Wes Graham trying to get to the back bumper of Ryan Stewart in the 12, and he almost got it done in turn 3, but Ryan was able to hold him off, and these are the 3 trucks to watch on the track right now. Although this is something that Sahil's looking out behind him and saying, hey guys, keep racing. I'm liking what I'm seeing. He's pulling his lead even further out now, almost getting about a half a second.
Meanwhile, Joshua Jones in that 3 Dale Earnhardt retro scheme, the regular retro scheme, he just came down for an unscheduled pit stop, getting some damage repaired. He will stay on the track, but 12 laps down as Alexander Reno goes around him. Reno was in last night's race, and I've got a feeling he's learned a thing or two about Caden Darlington. He's now running top 5. He's still 4 seconds behind, but I think he's just kind of saving the truck, conserving it right now. Now that we're past the halfway point, he's waiting for that next yellow flag to come out, because I guarantee you, Jeff, it will come out. And when it does, I think he's ready to strike at your top 4.
Yeah, the 22 truck was definitely having a great run earlier on, as we saw, but he got caught up in a little bit of misfortune there. But yeah, I think that maybe comes down to, you got what you have right now. You're halfway in the race. It comes down to the tires. I think maybe they're waiting for another set of yellows to come out, or another caution, so they can go down pit road, get fresh tires, and have another shot at this. It looks like he had some damage on his truck, but it got fixed by one of his fast repairs. I'm not sure how many he has remaining, but that is kind of... Oh, and the 18 almost got a little sideways coming off of turn number 2.
So now you're seeing the tires from his truck start to go away. That's great news if you're Stewart, great news if you're Graham, great news if you're Long. Otherwise, if you're Mustak, you're starting to wonder, do I need to conserve? Do I need to start doing some rear view mirror driving? Or more importantly, do I need to lift these guys ahead of me so that I can save the truck up and come back down pit road when they do, get the tires, and get back to the lead? Strategy playing out at 180 miles per hour. Jeff, I don't know about you, but playing chess at those high speeds does not appeal to me.
And I've been around this track before. It is not easy. What you're seeing these guys do right here, this is not easy. You're driving these trucks, 170, 180 miles an hour off the wall the entire time. Well, not the entire time, but getting down to the corner. It's so weird. You have to diamond your corners. So when you're in entry, you're driving towards the wall when you're out of the gas. When you get right there in the center of the corner, you're back committed into the gas. You're driving up next to the wall, and you're hoping and praying you're not going to hit the wall as you come off the corner. And looks like the 88 might capitalize here on the 12 for his mistake he just made off of 4.
The 12 knows he had made a mistake. He's waving around both the 88 and, well, no, he was going to wave around 29. 29 didn't know what to do. He got into the wall, gets that big Darlington stripe along the right side of that car, but he might still have enough. Yes, he is. Ryan Stewart looks like he's going to let Michael Long around this time by, and Stewart may be in conservation mode. I think he's trying to see what's going to happen to this truck as a little smoke on the front stretch there. I think that's going to belong to Scott Barkman.
Yeah, that is Scott Barkman. Not sure what happened there. I saw a lot of smoke. I think he might have gotten loose coming off of turn 4, was able to gather back up. He's going to stay on the bottom of the track right now and try to get back on the track without causing any more incidents with anybody. But as far as Ryan goes, I'm not really sure what's going on with the 12 camp. Is he having issues with the tires, the handling of that truck? Is that starting to go away? And the caution is out. Here we go.
And that looks like it's going to involve a solo spin on the 14 truck of DeFrenchie, the Haas CNC Toyota Tundra. I've seen him getting sideways off the turn, and that solo spin might just be the caution a lot of guys needed.
I think you're absolutely right with that. Drivers like the 22 of Reno wanting to come down pit road, get their truck serviced, and everybody else. I mean, This is going to change it up a little bit. We're now halfway through this, we're past the halfway point of this race. This is where it comes down to, now I know what the truck drives like on good tires. Now I know what the truck drives like on bad tires. What do I need to do brake bias-wise to try to get this truck in the best condition I can to get to the end?
And a lot of guys are going to start testing those theories now. Mustak down on pit road. Graham follows him. Ryan Stewart, Michael Long, Alexander Reno, Charles Gray, Aaron Beaver, Jeff Coburn, Tony Wilson, and even the fan favorite Bobby Kellert, all down on pit road. Let's go down to our reporter, our guy down there. What you seeing on pit road?
Conserving the tires is a big issue for them, definitely. It seems like the track isn't cooling down as much as they'd like it to, and they're having a struggle once they get past about 12, 15 laps. So it's all comes down to, are they going to conserve tires, slow up, maybe risk losing a couple positions, and then try to build it on later when their tires are good, but that could bring out a caution, and they still 2 or 3 positions down. So everybody's getting tires. Everybody's going to try to conserve them.
Jeremy, do we know what's going on with the 12 truck? It looked like he was doing really good there for a moment or two, and then he really fell off towards the end of that run.
He didn't get on the radio and say anything, but the last time he had an issue similar in turn 3, it was his tires. He said his tires were starting to go. So it looks like he may be pushing it pretty hard.
There you have it. That's Jeremy down in the pits letting us know what's going on with these drivers. And it seems like tires. That's what it's all about tonight. What do you think, Joe?
I think this is exactly what we talked about in last night's race. I think last night we saw them really test what the tires can do, and now that we're getting in these shorter runs, tire conservation and tire strategy is going to be the name of the game moving forward. We're almost an hour into this race. Fatigue is starting to set in for these drivers, so now they not only have to concentrate on how fast they're going, how they're navigating this egg-shaped track, they also have to figure out how much of my tire am I using, how much am I burning up, and how much do I want to save if it comes down to a race on pit road at the end. And more importantly, knowing what I can do on good tires and worn tires, I guarantee you a lot of these guys are starting to think, okay, if there's a caution flag that comes out late, if we're forced into an overdrive situation, do I take all 4 tires or do I risk it with 2 right sides?
I don't think it's really worth the risk, honestly, from what we've seen tonight. I think it's going to come down to having the 4 fresh tires to really, really go head-to-head and get around the track without, putting in the wall. You take that equation on top of the nerves you're going to be getting there at the last 10 laps of the race, and that spells disaster. It's easy to get in the wall here. We've seen it happen to so many drivers that know how to get around Darlington, yet it's always come out to bite them a little bit. Let's look and see where everybody's standing right now here in the race. Sahil is your leader right here in the number 1 spot. Wes Graham right behind him in second. Third is Civ Ryan, Mr. Ryan Stewart. 4th to Michael Long. 5th to Alex Reno. 6th to Charles Gray in the 87 truck. The 7th is the 91 of Jeff Coburn. The 8th of Robert Killert there in the 4. 9th to Tony Wilson. And 10th to Michael Groves. Continuing on there, the last truck on the lead lap is the 97 Aaron Beaver. And behind them, 2 laps down, you got Scott Barkman in the 19. 3 laps down, Anthony DeFrenchie in the 14 truck. Eric O'Neill, Josh D. Jones, John R. Borst out of the race. And Honda Longmire out of the race as well. He's showing about 60 laps down.
As the drivers try to figure out where they need to go, it looks like we're going to be in a place to go green flag racing one more time on lap number 69. No giggles from the crowd, please. Sahil Mustak up, Wes Graham in second, and for once again, Mustak will control when we go back to green flag racing. Side by side, they come down. Flag is out. Mustak is holding him back. I'm fascinated by that start. He's doing everything he can to kind of bunch him up as they go to turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's been kind of his go-to move tonight as we see the 12 kind of get to the inside of the 29, 21, right around the outside of him there. And this is a nice battle shaping up between the 88 and the 18, but don't count out the 29 of Michael Long. Here goes the 88. He's trying to get around the 18 for the lead.
Wes Graham wants that lead bad, but Mustak's going to hold him off going through turns 3 and 4. Now it's a drag race down the front stretch into the big turn at the Darlington Egg. Mustak continues to hold on. Graham second, Long third, Stewart fourth, and look who's joined the fray. Charles Gray trying to represent for the Monster Group. He is now in the top 5, and he's looking to challenge with this group. Battle back up front.
Yeah, they're battling. The caution comes out. We're trying to figure out where that's at on the track.
The fans are not going to be happy, Jeff. The fans may start revolting here in a moment because that's going to involve their guy from New Jersey, the number 4 of Robert Kellert, coming off of turn number 2. Might have had just the air taken off of him by another truck, or DeFrenchie got involved with him as well, and that's going to take both those trucks out there. So DeFrenchie telling Kellert, Lego my ego, and Kellert having none of it.
Just about to say, Lego my ego? I'm not really sure. The 14 having that prior incident, that was really unfortunate for him, but this is not going to help anything out as he's showing a lap down, and the 4 of Kellert still showing on the lead lap, hanging on as of right now. We'll see if that changes here shortly, but we're trying to get the instant replay back to where it actually happened. It happened down into turn number 3. It looks like it might have been a racing incident. The 14 gets right to his... he gets right to the inside of him there and just turning it around. I'm sure he didn't mean to do that, but he didn't pull out a line enough.
No, I think that was just purely a racing incident, considering that DeFrenchie is 3 laps down. I'm pretty sure that was just 2 guys who didn't communicate that very well, and that brings out the caution once again. And I've got a feeling that Mustak is going to be the biggest beneficiary of this caution flag, because he gets to slow down all the other drivers behind him. He gets to slow down the pace of the race, and once again, as we've seen him do before, he's going to force them to bunch up as they get ready to go back out to the green flag. So I think he's definitely the biggest winner out of all this, but can he control it? Can he hold on? That is the question that everyone's going to be looking to when the green flag flies once again.
Now let's talk about what heat cycles are on these tires. You get them up to temp, you cool them down. You get them up to temp, you cool them down without coming down pit road and changing those out. That does affect these trucks in a lot of different ways, and we're seeing that starting to affect the 18 truck and the 88. We'll see if that continues to be a problem. I'm not really sure because we just had that round of pit stops and they were fine, but we did have a cool down period and then we went back green flag racing again. And we've seen the 88 really strong here, but the 18 just cannot be stopped tonight.
No, he can't, but you do bring up a very good point. Cautions breed cautions. Why do cautions breed cautions? Because those tires warm up, then cool down, then warm up, then cool down over and over again, and it creates some problems for these drivers. The good news for them, though, is the track is self-cleaning tonight. They don't have to worry about the marbles or debris on the racetrack. All they have to do is worry about managing their trucks, which can get difficult as the tire conditions change. Now, when you complicate that with older tires underneath these trucks in a completely different center of gravity than you would have in, say, the K&N car or the Xfinity car, it definitely adds a major degree of difficulty for each of these drivers. And I really think that's why Sahil is waiting for the last minute to go out there and restart this field, because he feels like if he can force them to compress, he can force them behind them to slow up, he might be able to get a better jump on those older tires, ride not intended, and find a way to get these guys, force these guys to battle amongst themselves as he takes off.
Yeah, look at the track right now, showing 84 degrees. That's a lot cooler than what we saw at the start of this race, right around 97 degrees. And even in practice, the track was over 100 degrees. But talking about cautions, yeah, we've had 7 tonight. And that's a total of 27 laps led under caution, which is always unfortunate whenever you're a driver in this series. You just want to get out there and you want to do some green flag racing.
They want to go fast.
They definitely want to go fast, and it's winding down. We've only got 37 to go here. It's go time. It's either, and look at the 91. He's all the way back up in there, right at the number 5 spot. This is starting to shake up how we saw last night. We saw guys have a really bad race in the beginning of the race and then come out of nowhere and finish really strong.
I think we're definitely going to get to checkers or wreckers here as we start to wind down this race. But right now, that Ford Mustang will go down pit road, and Sahil Mustak will once again control this field of trucks, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Green is in the air, and once again, Sahil delays, but the number 88 of Wes Graham jumps right at the same time with him, and they'll go side by side. 1 2.
Yeah, Sahil came right up to the door of the 88 to try to hold him there so he wouldn't get down a little bit further. And looks like he got a little loose coming off of turn 2 there. These guys are really fighting hard now. Again, we're talking about those heats, the heat cycle on these tires, and we're seeing just how much that does affect these trucks on these restarts. And the 88 is all over the back bumper of the 18.
Meanwhile, back in position number 4, Ryan Stewart is trying to fight off Jeff Coburn and Charles Gray, who have linked up. They're trying to get their shot of position as the track cools down, and they keep fighting. Caution flag out once again.
Caution flag out once again. Trying to find where that was. That was the 3 truck of Joshua Jones. We're going to find out what happened. Looks like DeFrenchie and the 14 on the inside of him there, and they do touch. The 14 getting caught up in yet another mess, and the 14 went for a little bit of a ride, almost all the way up on 2 tires. And the 3 just didn't have anywhere to really go there.
Looking from my angle, Jeff, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but looking from my angle, looks like there's a bit of a netcode issue there as the imaginary hitbox, if you will, forced the 14 around the 3. Either way, it's been a really tough night for both of those teams. DeFrenchie in the Haas C&C Toyota Tundra, and Joshua Jones in that Earnhardt throwback Wrangler number 3 Chevrolet Silverado. Can't get it out there. Tough night for both of them, guys. And I think this is just more pain, more salt in the wound, if you will.
Yeah, we're looking at a top 5 right now. Sahil Mustak cannot be passed tonight. He was only passed once, and that was just all because somebody stayed out instead of going down pit road. In second, we've got Michael Long. Third is Alex Reno. And here's another truck that we saw earlier. Had a lot of promise. Got caught up in a little bit of an incident. Got his track position back. And here he is in third right now. And behind him is Michael Groves in the fourth position. The fifth is the number 4 of Robert Keller.
Meanwhile, pit road getting busy as Wes Graham comes down to the tent of his crew for tires. Ryan Stewart, Charles Gray, Tony Wilson, and Jeff Coburn. I'm going to throw it down to our guy on pit road, Jeremy. Is this a planned stop for these guys?
Absolutely. It's a planned stop, and it's going to change things. Kind of surprising that everybody else didn't come in. These guys coming out here with fresh tires, the other guys with 2 cycles already on the tires they've got. This is going to shake things up. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and it looks like it was just the 88, the 12, the 91, and possibly Beaver in the 97. That was the 4 trucks I saw on pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. They were in pretty good contention there, too. So they're going to be charging back up through the field pretty quick, I imagine, if it could stay green.
That's the question. Can it stay green? These drivers want it to stay green, but will it stay green? It hasn't been tonight. Again, we're looking at cautions here. This is the 8th caution tonight. We're 30 laps under caution here. We've had 4 lead changes, and the fastest lap tonight's a 28.399. And who does that belong to? That's the 18 of Sahil. We've seen great things out of the 18 truck tonight, but here is the 29. Going to be starting behind, or just on the outside of him. We'll see if the 29 has a shot at the 18 tonight.
But Jeff, this is kind of the cool thing that you see here tonight that you didn't see in the open race. You have a lot of very good, very qualified drivers all competing against each other from the comfort of their home using the iRacing simulation software. You've got a lot of respect among these drivers too. Nobody's maliciously wrecking each other. Nobody's maliciously getting out of the way. And I think that's one of the cool things, the great things that iRacing does. It brings together like-minded people who have a respect and love for the sport of auto racing and gets them to come together in ways that you would never be able to otherwise. We have people from all over the country in this, all hand selected for their ability to drive and the respect they have for each other. And it's just a really cool thing to see online.
It really is. I mean, we saw, that incident that happened between the 12 of Ryan and the 91 of Coburn earlier, and Coburn said, I don't think you hit me. So it's a matter of, these guys showing respect for each other. This is a closed league. These guys know each other. They've raced together. We have some new faces in the field, and we even had the 71 of Borst that was invited into the closed league tonight, and he's the first one to ever have that privilege. So this is a closed section of drivers that drove with each other all last year. They've learned how each other race each other. There's a lot of respect out in the field, and you can definitely see it.
And there's going to be a little bit more respect to be had, even if patience is tested when we go back to green flag racing in just half a lap. Sahil Mustak will once again lead the field to the flag. Michael Long in second, and look who's made their way up due to those pit stops. Alexander Reno, Michael Groves, Robert Keller, all 3, 4, 5. Wes Graham, Ryan Stewart now 6 and 7. The field shakes up as they go green flag racing.
They're bringing it back to the green flag. It looked like on the replay or on the TV camera, what I saw there, that 18 had a little bit of damage on that right side. We'll see if that's going to affect him here. And he is out of there. And there's a huge crash on the front stretch of the 4 of Keller, the 88 of Wes Graham. They're all involved. Somebody spun tires.
Somebody spun tires, somebody checked up, and I think the drivers themselves are trying to figure out what exactly happened. The issue really looks like around that 88 machine of Wes Graham. He got a shot in the shorts from Jeff Coburn, and he's going to scramble the ego of Robert Keller, or Bobby Keller, if you will, as several trucks involved in this one. I am counting at least half a dozen.
That's really, really unfortunate. Yeah, Keller went for a heck of a ride there. He got spun around. The 97 had nowhere to go of Aaron Beaver. The 76 is involved. The 91 of Coburn. The 37 just got through there, and he starts locking up the brakes, and he gets right by the 97. No, he does not. He gets tagged, and the 19's yet again involved in another accident. It looks like the 88 got spun around again by the 76 of Wilson. I don't think he's going to be happy about that.
I don't think he's going to be happy about that one at all. And I think the only guys that are happy about that are the ones in front who have not taken tires this cycle. That's Mustak, that's Reno, Michael Long, and Michael Groves, who did not come down to the attention of their crews last time by. So these guys have a few more parade laps to conserve those tires underneath them. Fuel is not going to be the issue so much as tires here because of that heat cycle we were talking about earlier. And if you're the top 4 guys right now, you're happy as a clam because you know you have more of an opportunity to hold on to that lead, hold on to that position, and fight amongst yourselves before those guys with new tires come at you.
Yeah, the 20 truck there of Michael Groves missed a shift there on that restart, and that's why he's got so much damage on the back there, and that's what ended up stacking the entire field up. So it looks like that whole thing came from a missed shift from the 20 truck.
A missed shift, a spun tire, and that's how fragile racing can be here at Darlington. The lady in black claims another victim as these guys start to figure out what exactly they need to do to hold on to it. We're coming down to the closing laps of this race. It'll be lap 84 once we go back, or once they cross the start-finish line. Not a lot of time left. If you're going to make a move, now's the time to start planning it.
Also, the 29 truck was in third there, bringing it down to pit road. Jeremy, is this a planned stop for the 29, or is he's trying to make a fuel strategy here?
I haven't heard one thing or another on it. I would doubt if it has something to do with fuel strategy, but I haven't heard. Seems like everybody's quiet on the radio except for talking about issues with netcode and stuff, so we'll see.
All right, well, either way, the 29 came down, and he's going to take service to his truck, and he pulled out from the third position, so something major there to make him come down pit road when nobody else wants to.
And that might be a strategy move. He might be thinking, okay, if I come down and get tires now, this may be the last pit stop we need. And if that is the case, because again, your top 4 have not come in for tires yet. Those top 4 guys are still out without any new stickers underneath them, and they're going to be forced to come back down. Behind them, Stewart, Long, Coburn, Graham, who all came in for tires last caution flag. They might want one more stop. So this might be a really interesting strategy play that could play out at the end. If they can get their last stop in now, if the caution flags continue, which they have so far, if they continue, they might be in prime position to win by backing into it effectively.
Well, it all comes down to your fast repair. Who's got them and who doesn't at this point, especially when we've seen the amount of cautions we have tonight. But let's talk a little bit about the 22 truck. We've seen him be pretty much an underdog in this race. He started off a little strong, held it right in the top 5 for a long time, got caught up in some incidents, but here he is all the way up in the second position.
All the way up now in the second position is Reno, and he, I think, could have something to challenge Mustak, because no one's had anything to answer to that 18 truck tonight, but this could be his opportunity to make something work as they get ready to go back to green flag racing. Should be one more parade lap before we go back under green here in a minute. An update on the machine of Joshua Jones, that number 3 machine. The Yeti's going to go ahead and put it in the cooler tonight. He is done, has put it behind the garage, and it's going to wait for next week to try to strike again.
And that's that's what it's all about. You've got rookies that have never been out here on this track before. You're cutting your teeth. He was very respectful. He got out of the way of quite a few guys. It's just one of those things where, Darlington is not a track that is easy to just jump into and drive around here. It doesn't even take hours of practice. It takes literal years of practice around Darlington to really master, to really get it down, to really be good here. But it's really incredible to see some of these guys that are very, very new faces in iRacing, and they're being able to hold it down really well here at Darlington.
We'll preview the schedule later on in the race, but right now we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing as they come down the backstretch. Let's reline them up for you one more time. Mustak will start first in the 18. Alexander Reno beside him in the 22. Michael Groves, Ryan Stewart, third and fourth behind them. Jeff Coburn, Wes Graham, fifth and sixth. Tony Wilson, Charles Gray, Michael Long, Aaron Beaver, rounding out your top 10. Michael Long's the last one on the lead lap, so 9 trucks, all with the opportunity to strike as we get ready to go back to green flag racing one more time.
And the pace car is down once again. Mustak's going to be holding him back here. Is he going to do what he's been doing all night and hold him all the way to that green flag? He just might do it here. And looks like he is going to. And somebody almost spun the tires there, and he's going to get right there in the front of the 22. Some net code happening back in the 19 truck, and they head all the way down through 1 and 2.
More trouble now for that 87 machine. As he hits the wall, he's going to lose a lot of position going through turns 1 and 2. But the next best battle now is for position between Ryan Stewart and Wes Graham. Stewart hits the wall going into turns 3 and 4, but he's going to stay strong. Side by side, they continue to run. It's a drag race down the front stretch.
Hey, Stewart really holding his position there up against the wall, and looks like that's where he wants to be. The 88 truck trying to push a little bit on the 12, and the 12 just did not crack under pressure. Drove it right up next to the wall, and he had the momentum getting around him.
Meanwhile, Sahil Mustak continues to dominate over this field. 0.4 of a second last time around over Reno, trying to add on to it this time by, but Reno and Stewart looks like they're trying to line up and see what they can do to catch up. Not working so far. That time around, 0.6 of a second a gap through. Mustak must know something about the setup that we don't, because he is all over the place. He is making this race his.
Yeah, he is. Looks like the 12 truck of Stewart got another Darlington stripe as the 88 gets around him there. Coming off of 2, he got bound up. It looks like there's a lot of damage there on the right front, or on the whole right side of that truck. Not sure that's going to affect him too much there, but it might. It just might.
Arrow, not a big deal at this 1.3 mile track, but any advantage you can get over your competitors, you want it. You don't care how it comes. You just want it under your truck and as you move forward. Meanwhile, Mustak, no one near him. He's almost a second away from Alexander Reno, who's taking over that second place position. Everyone else now single file out in the field. Tony Wilson in the number 76 truck. He's the last one on the lead lap, and he is quite a ways away in that flex seal machine. He's going to need for Charles Gray to make a mistake in order for him to pick up some more position.
The 88 of Wes Graham gets around 22, got into the side of the 22 of Reno there, and I don't think Reno's going to be happy with the 88 doing that move right there. But the 88 was coming for a while, and he was able to get it done. Looks like Stewart's now under fire from the 29 of Michael Long, and Michael Long is going to get it done in turn number 1.
That he will, and the Barron County Humane Society Silverado will move up 1 position, score him now in position number 4. But these guys are all fighting for scraps at this point. These guys are all looking for whatever the leader is willing to give him, because guess what? Sahil Mustak is now almost 2 seconds away from his closest competition. That's Wes Graham.
And just watching the 29 of Michael Long, he just shot right by the 22 with no problem at all. He looks like he's on a mission to try to catch the 18 truck from what we can see here. But Wes Graham is not giving up as well. He's trying to get to the 18. The 18 still has a 1.7 second lead on him.
And that's even without new tires. Some of those guys came down for tires before him, so I'm not sure if they're planning for another stop here in the next 21 laps left or so in this race. Back in position number 6, Jeff Coburn starting to get under fire from Charles Gray. It's a soft drink battle. Pepsi versus Monster. Who's going to win that one? So far, it's Coburn, but Gray now looking to the inside, trying to take it in 3 and 4.
And it looks like Gray's getting to the inside quarter panel, but the 91 is going to put it up next to the wall and hold him off yet another lap. He might be waiting for the 87 to use his stuff up so they can both kind of conserve and see if they can hold back a little bit. Because if we get another caution, and remember we're 95 and 110 here, but we could get another caution and that will change up everything. So maybe saving a little bit, but I don't think so. I think at this point, everybody's going for it.
Gray still plays for sure, but he is not trying. He's not playing for position number 6 as Jeff Coburn has that on lockdown. The rest of your field is separated. Mustak now increases his lead to almost 2 seconds over Wes Graham, who's getting some pressure from Michael Long right behind him, further back from them. Alexander Reno is getting position on Ryan Stewart. Your top 5 are all fighting for the scraps the leader gives them as the battle heats up for position number 2.
Yeah, and if you're the 18 truck, you're just enjoying the fact that behind you, you've got 4 trucks side by side racing each other. And let's watch back there. Michael Long getting by Wes Graham there. They almost had a little bit of a moment there, but I think that the 88 just gave it up eventually. And now the 29's got around the 88, so he's going to be setting his sights on the 18.
If he can catch up to him. But you're right, absolutely right. At this point, you burn it down, you drive it like you stole it, you try to get one of those OCRP cops to pull you over. That's how aggressive you want to race as we come to the closing laps of this race. Lap 98 of 110, less than 15 to go at this juncture, and Sahil Mustak is in his own time zone. 2.1 seconds over Michael Long. And so
we
Michael
got a truck
Long,
in the
Wes
wall
Graham,
on the back
we
stretch.
got a truck in the wall.
As the 37, Eric O'Neill, looks like it's going to stay green right now, and that won't be a problem for the rest of the field.
So Eric O'Neill will get back up to speed under his own power. No problems there, as looks like position number 4 is starting to go under fire. Ryan Stewart in his rearview mirror, Alexander Reno, Jeff Coburn, and Charles Gray. So it looks like now the fight's going to be for that 4th position as all these guys trying to get around Civ Ryan.
Still a lot of racing to go here. I mean, anything can happen. We just saw 37 get out of shape, and we didn't get a caution on that. But regardless, they're staying under green flag, and here comes the 22 of Reno, really challenging the 12 of Stewart. And looks like they're all going to just stay single file all the way back around to the start-finish line.
10 to go at this juncture. Let's go through your top 10. Sahil Mustak still continuing to put an ocean between him and the rest of the field. 3 seconds now between him and Michael Long, who's driving effectively by himself in position number 2. Wes Graham about 6 truck lengths away from Michael Long. May try to make a run on him, but it's doubtful. Ryan Stewart in 4th. He's fighting off Alexander Reno, Jeff Coburn, and Charles Gray, who have all lined up behind him. And the 10th, Tony Wilson, nowhere to be found on the field, it looks like. He's going to be your 10th truck as really now the battle narrows down to the top 8.
Yeah, we haven't been using the ticker mostly for the race because there are 3 or 4 people in that list that are not driving out on the track, and us being one of them. We're just here present, but we're not out there in trucks. So that's the reason why we're not running the ticker right now tonight. But yeah, Mustak's out here. A 3.1 second lead on the field. No one can touch the 18 all night. I think he's got what it takes to take it home.
8 laps to go at this juncture, and Mustak has nobody around him. Let's continue to watch that battle brewing between Stewart, Reno, Coburn, and Gray. Those 4 trucks, the closest 4 trucks on the field, on the lead lap, and on position. I don't know if they can catch Stewart. He was in the race last night. He knew how to make that truck work for him, and I don't know that anyone has anything to answer to him as the battle now heats up between Reno and Coburn.
Yeah, Coburn had a little bit of a run on the 22, wasn't able to get by him there, and looks like you hear the 91 lifting coming off of 2. I think the trucks are starting to get tight at this point of the race. You know, we're down to the very, very end, and they've got what they got for the most part. But it looks like the 22's dealing with the tight truck as well, and here comes the 91 trying to make a move on him.
Everyone dealing with a tight truck as the tires have gone away from those trucks. Coburn now gets around Reno to score Jeff Coburn, the Pepsi Chevrolet, in position number 5. Reno in 6, and Charles Gray doing everything he can to pick up position number 6 off Alexander Reno. Can he do it? So far, Reno getting a run. He looks like he wants position 5 back.
Yeah, an incredible run by the 22 truck there. All night, just hanging on to that 5th position, but he's under fire by Charles Gray. Now, looking out in front of the 18 of Mustak, he's got some lap traffic he's going to be catching. That's going to be the 4 of Robert Keller. and we'll see if that's going to have any play in how the outcome of the race goes. But I think if you're at this point, you got 5 laps to go, why not just ride where you're at? You have nobody out behind you, and you don't want to get side-by-side racing with somebody up there and get caught up in an accident.
If I'm in chat right now, I'm grabbing a nice bowl of Coca-Cola and a box of popcorn because I think it's going to get a little hairy between these guys. Less than 5 laps to go. Stewart, Coburn, Reno, and Gray. If something's going to happen, it's going to happen in that hornet's nest, as it looks like Reno touched the wall. Gray is now sideways. He's going to go into the wall. And as
the caution's out.
Yellow flag out.
That changes everything right there. We saw really hard racing between the 22, the 91, and the 87, and this is the product of exactly that. You're on older tires, and we're going to try to figure out what happened here in just a few moments. That was the 87 and the 22. They were racing for position there, and we're going to see what exactly happened. I think the 87 might have just gotten loose by himself. Hard to say.
What I think he did is he just goosed it coming off of turn number 2, trying to get that last push out of his truck to get around the 22 of Reno. Nothing there, no grip underneath him on those older tires, and he went for a ride all by himself.
It looked like the 22 got in the wall. The 22 got in the wall, and when he got in the wall, he checked up really hard. The 87 had nowhere to go, and then he just tried to hang on. But when you're on older tires like that, you don't have a lot of grip. And unfortunately, he went around. Now, he did get the inside wall, and we're not sure how many fast repairs are left. Jeremy, you know how many guys have fast repairs and what they're going to be able to do with that?
I'm not sure how many of them's got fast repairs left. I do know that it's pretty strange that Sahil doesn't take tires this time either. Everybody else seems to be getting tight. That's what they've been talking about, is they're getting tight. Trucks are just pushing and pushing. So Sahil must know something they don't.
And that is a product of having these older tires on these fixed setups. Is that they get tighter and tighter and tighter, and when you have the heat cycles and whatnot, it gets even worse. So the 18 is going to be under fire, and you're kind of a sitting duck, because if you've got the 29 of Long, you got Wes Graham, you got Beaver, you got Coburn, all those guys, they're going to come down pit road, and it looks like the 19's going to, but everybody else is going to stay out. You're kind of a sitting duck there. You have to make a decision.
I'm going to throw it back down to our guy Jeremy on pit road real quick, because here's what counted coming down pit road. Wes Graham came down pit road to get 4 new tires. Coburn took a 4-tire stop. Reno took a 4-tire stop. And also Civ Ryan took a 4-tire stop as well, the truck of Ryan Stewart. What are these guys thinking with these new tires? Are they thinking they really have enough in them for a 2-lap showdown to catch the 18?
I think they do. I think they're hedging everything on exactly that.
Well, we'll have to see how this is going to shake out. But, man, this does change everything. The 18 did not want to see the yellow flag fly here tonight. He was checked out, 3.5-second lead on the field. And this could be anybody's. We've seen awesome results out of the 29 of Michael Long. I think he might have what it takes to get it done.
At this point, I'm not. Normally, I'm a betting man, Jeff. You know that about me. But at this point, I'm not putting any wagers down. The table is closed. Wagers are off. We're about to spin the wheel as we get ready for the first of 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. If I'm Mustak, I am going to do everything I can to make that truck about 3 lanes wide, as Long, Graham, Coburn, Reno are behind me, and most of those guys have brand new tires that they're ready to burn down. The best case scenario for Mustak, they go through all 3 attempts at a green-white checkered, and they fail miserably because of burning those tires down. So if I'm Mustak, I am holding my breath. I am going to accordion them in, going to the restart. If I'm everyone else, I am going to burn it up, and it's going to be checkers or wreckers.
I don't know. I think that was a bad move for those guys to not come down pit road and get 4 fresh tires to try to finish this out. I understand the reason why they stayed out, because if he was kind of screwed. If he went down pit road, everybody's going to stay out. If he stayed out, everybody's going to go down pit road. Well, we didn't really see that happen, but in his mind, that is what he thought was going to happen. So let's talk about the guys behind him. You got Mike Long, you got Wes Graham, you got Jeff Coburn, and Ryan Stewart. These are your top 5 right now. Anybody can win this race. And that damage on the 18 has not hurt him so far, but we'll see how it works in the short run.
Well, he's going to have 2 laps here. All he's got to do, if he can survive 2 more laps with all these hard chargers behind him, he can walk away with a big win here at Darlington. Green flag getting ready to go out. Mustak will control the field. Will he delay the start one more time? Green flag officially out, and the answer is yes. Mustak goes at the last second. Michael Long jumping with him. Several other drivers now jockeying all for position in turns 1 and 2.
The 88 all the way, left side tires below the dashed white line. He's right on the door of the 29, and he spins him. There is the wreck right there. We're going to set him back up and try this again. The 91 of Coburn involved.
Looks like only 2 trucks involved in that one. Coburn and it's going to be Coburn, and it looks like the number there, I'm sorry, the 27, check that 29 of Michael Long. Michael Long, again, just hard racing between those two as Graham just got into the rear quarter panel of Long. Long goes for the ride, and the 891 of Coburn, he had nowhere to go. He just got collected in that. But those 2 trucks, I think they are out. They have lost their chance at the lottery. And now that opens a door for some other dark horses, if you will. Wes Graham, Ryan Stewart, Alexander Reno, now all prime for the chase.
Wow, what an incredible turn of events right there. Watching here as the trucks get through turn number 2. And the 29 was, it looked like the 88 had gotten below the white lines, but he was holding his position. The 29 came down on the 88. That was net code happening right there, and he just had nowhere to go. And everybody else was just along for the ride. The 12 was able to keep his nose clean. The 22 as well. But unfortunately, the 29 will not have a shot at winning this race.
So Sahil Mustak continues to hold on to his lead as we get ready to attempt the second green-white checkered finish. Wes Graham will be immediately on his outside. Ryan Stewart, Alexander Reno, and Tony Wilson rounding out your top 5. And guess who's back on the lead lap as the lucky dog? The Ego Machine, Bobby Keller, the New Jersey boy that everyone in Jansen talking about. He'll get back in the lead lap. I don't know if he can win it from 10th. But if he wants to try, I want to watch.
Well, he can wait for 9 trucks to wreck out and try and buy him. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great drive to see him, get his lap back and then get back up into the game. I mean, even if he gets up, in the top 5 or even a top 10 finish here, it's good for him. Let's talk a little bit about something that is new to the iRacing series, and as the 4 is starting to get his lap back right there. Something new to the iRacing series is this green-white checkered deal. This hasn't been a thing in iRacing for years, and this year they debuted it, and we're seeing it here tonight.
Well, and this is a thing that's been absent from sim racing in general. When you go back to all the leagues that run iRacing, and before that, NASCAR Racing 2003 series, this is something that has been absolutely absent, and it's a welcome addition to iRacing. Gives it really that edge that a lot of people are looking for in a true simulation package. So kudos to iRacing for putting that in. It definitely adds to the realism. It definitely adds to the simulation factor of it. But for some of these guys, if you're Sahil in general right now, I bet you're wishing that they did not have the green-white checkered, because you would have won this about 4 laps ago.
Exactly. Now let's have a look and see where everybody has shaken up before we get this next attempt at a green-white checker here. Sahil still holding on to that number 1 spot. Wes Graham behind him, Ryan Stewart, Alex Reno, Tony Wilson, Charles Gray, Aaron Beaver, Michael Long, Robert Kellert there, Bobby Kellert in the 4. And then you've got Jeff Coburn rounding out the top 10. Michael Groves behind him, Scott Barkman, Eric O'Neill, Anthony DeFrenchi, and Josh Jones is out, John Borst is out, and Hondo Longmire is out of the race so far. So what are you thinking, Joe? You think they're going to just, you think they're going to lay back into a single file race, or you think they're going to go 3 wide here?
Jeff, if I'm in one of those trucks, it's going to be smoke 'em if you got him. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think Mustak is going to have the fight of his life as Graham, Stewart, Reno, all fast trucks, all very competitive drivers, are immediately behind him. As I said before, and I will say one more time, if I'm Mustak, I've got to figure out a way to make that truck about 3 times wider than it is. Make sure those drivers don't get around me, but it may be a futile effort considering the condition of tires underneath his competition.
Let's talk about the two drivers. Well, not only is the 18 really hungry for a win here, it'll be his first, but you've got the 12 of Stewart and you've got the 22. They're really hungry for this win. They've been really staying patient this entire race to try to maintain a top 5 position, and here they are at the end. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to find out what exactly is going to go down here shortly.
That is the big question. If you're a superstitious person, get your rabbit's feet out, get your lucky socks on, do whatever it is, tap your head 3 times, whatever you need to do to root for your driver and give them the luck they need to survive. Green, white, checkered overdrive number 2. Mustak, Graham on the front row as a green flag ready to fly. Mustak will once again stack him up and hold him off to the very last second. But 2 by 2, 3 by 2 by 2, 3, 4 down. They continue to run side by side into turns 1 and 2.
The 18 of Mustak comes up right in front of the front bumper of the 88. He's going to try to hold him off there. The 88's got a nice run coming off of the backstretch here. We'll see if we can get it done down into turn 3. If we can outbrake him. Doesn't seem like he's going to. Here he comes to the inside. The 88 looking for a door-to-door to the line.
18 gets hit, gets into the wall. He's going to drop like a rock. White flag is out. This will end the race. White Graham now up front. Stewart second, long third, and Mustak drops all the way to the 4th as they go down the backstretch.
Not sure what happened there. The 18 got in the wall and gets in the wall again. Not sure if that damage is playing out. A key part of that. Here's the 88 of Wes Graham trying to bring it back around. The 12 of Ryan cannot get to him. And the 88 of Wes Graham, for the second time in a row this season, will win at Darlington.
What an incredible finish for Wes Graham. Checkers out now, and the 88 will claim his second victory of the 2019 OCRP iRacing League Series. Ryan Stewart with a strong finish in second, Michael Long third, Alexander Reno credited as 5th right now, and it looks like that our earlier leader, Sahil Mustak, he's going to finish all the way back at position number 4. Incredible finish, and you got to give a shout to Wes Graham for that courage and that call he made at the end to make that power move and ultimately get in front and get the win.
That was an incredible move. The 88 never gave up today, and that was pretty much the story of the day. He stayed right there in the top 5. He definitely deserves this win after holding off those guys as long as he did. And then the 12 almost snuck it away, but it wasn't going to happen. The 18 got in the wall. There was nowhere to go. And now the 88 is celebrating down at the start-finish line.
Yes, he is burning down those Goodyear Wranglers. Wes Graham, your winner. Here at Darlington, he will get the last dance with the lady in black. Incredible race for him, just all over the place, charging for the lead at the very end. So you got to give a holler to him for making that bold call, like I said, at the end of the race. That is how you win a race at Darlington, Jeff.
That is how you get it done. You're not kidding. Man, what a race we saw tonight. And who knew it was going to come down to a green-white checker after we saw the 18 of Mustak really hold it down all day long. He was the dominant truck. He was not able to be touched. And it came down to a final mistake of getting into the wall, losing that momentum, and there goes 2 guys right on by you. That's just a heartbreaker for the 18, but wow, what an incredible performance we saw of the 88 truck. Wins it last weekend. He'll win it here again.
What I'm out of breath just from that finish. That was a really strong finish. A lot of great driving out there you saw, but you just got to make those bold calls at the end of the run to make it work. Friends, if you liked what you saw tonight, be sure to join us next Thursday, July 11th. Or actually, we're gonna take a week off, it looks like, and then go back to the air on July 11th. July 11th. For Richmond, the OCRP iRacing League goes to another short track in the series at Richmond, 8 o'clock green flag time. It'll be me, Jeff, and of course our guy Jeremy down on pit road. You don't want to miss it. Come back here to twitch.tv/jfavignano for all the racing action. Speaking of all the racing action, Jeremy B, you've got a great look at all the action on pit road. What are your thoughts on this race?
Well, I didn't know where it was going to end up, but before that last green-white checker, it sounded like a little bit of strategy come out when Ryan tried to get in Sahil's head. Did it work? I don't know, but Wes won the race, and Sahil finished in fourth, so maybe it did. It's pretty interesting hearing that kind of radio chatter, but wow, what a race. What a race that was.
Absolutely. Well, folks, that is going to do it for all of us tonight here at Darlington. Thank you for tuning in and following along. An incredible race. We'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves.